excited to start today, and we're going to start session 2 with Mark sharing a story with us.
Thanks, Ton. And hello, everyone. I have a friend who was the one in the very first group of female CIA agents in America. And she told me the story one time and it's as the enemy was closing in on them, they had a death pact. And she was the only woman. And so they were going to have to take her out first because of the unspeakable things the enemy would do to her if she was captured. And as she's telling me that, I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And so as we talked more, she expressed that she believed in her mission so much that she was willing to die for it.
Wow.
That's a powerful mission to be willing to die for. I was talking to my wife earlier about that today, Ton, and it's like, seriously, how many things, what mission would we have that we are willing to die for?
Yeah. Yeah. And it just listening to you, this woman was a CIA, and that was a long time ago. And, it's not a field that there was a lot of women in it. So
Yeah.
she would be one of a very rare number of women in the field. And so she has to know why she doing it. What is it that she stand for? And, what her core values are in order to withstand not only the training requirement, the danger requirement, and also being the one of very few women in the field that not many people look like her, and may not be so welcoming, to just have a woman like her in the field. So she
There
has.
were only 6 women in that first group. And she
Wow.
told us that they were not popular with the men because it had been a men's organization for years and years. And now all of a sudden there's 6 women. So it was very difficult for
Yeah.
her to begin with.
Yeah, and what a terrifying story that she's was sharing with you. Um, the enemy attack and they're closing in, and I can't wait to hear what happened next. Before we get there, I would like to share with us our second tip to help us build confidence, and that is to know your core values. Core values are the thing that help us from the inside out to build our confidence, know why we do something, why we make a choice, and why we need to go through the difficult step to do what we need to do. And, there are core values like honesty, like integrity, like humility. That's like hundreds of core values that we could think of, right? But try to remember all of that at the same time is really not feasible. So what we would do is we would narrow down to the top 5 core values that
Hmm.
make the most sense for us, that we hold dear to. And whenever we need to go make a decision, we can refer back to our core values and know, does it align with who I want to be as a person? Does it align with what I stand for? Because like Viktor Frankl, he's a Holocaust survivor. He say, if you know the why you're doing something, you can overcome almost anyhow. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
how difficult, how fearful, frightening we are. If we know why we're doing something, it helps us overcome that.
Hmm.
Um, Here's a few questions that I would like to share to help us identify our core values. There are 3 questions. One is, when you feel most confident, what values are you living out? Second is, which values have helped you during your hardest moments? And third is, if you could pass down only 5 values to your children or someone you love, what would they be? So when you answer those 3 questions, it will help you narrow down to the few values that are your personal core values, and would help you refer to it and relate to it whenever you have to do hard things. And Ma, I can't wait to hear the rest of the story.
Okay. So so there they were in this safe house, and the enemy was closing in. There were eight of them altogether. She was the only woman. So they said, if the enemy is about to overtake us, we have to take each other out, and we start with you. And so just the enemy was closing in, and she told me, she said, maybe we were 2 or 3 minutes away from having to put that death pact into action when we heard the helicopter coming in to rescue us. So she's able to share the story with me. So they were rescued successfully. But as we talked about that, one of the she believed in the mission. She believed in the power of the mission. They had great preparation before the mission. The effort that it took for her to become a CIA agent as a woman in that initial group, it took tremendous effort. So she was willing to put forth the effort, the preparation, and those were core values that she had. The other thing that there was planning, there was preparation, there
Yeah.
was training, and then they had to also be flexible,
Yeah.
because it wasn't the plan that they would be attacked by the enemy. They thought they were in a safe house, and it turned out not to be so safe.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. So scary. It just a minute before they have to take their own life and then they got rescued. It's such a dangerous mission, and the things that, many men and women put their life in the line just to give us the freedom and the life that you and I are able to enjoy today. And thank you for sharing that
Mm.
story. And before we wrap up, I want to share another story. You know, in during history, there's a story about this gentleman who's, really about 5 feet height and very soft-spoken. And, when you look at him, you would never thought of him as a leader.
Mm.
Uh, but he able to liberate, bring freedom to the most populated country in the world, which is India. And as I said it, you could immediately say that, Gandhi, right?
Yeah.
And he say, be the change you want to see in the world. And he let the whole country go through this whole independence movement with non-violence because he knows his truth, he knows his core values. So again and again in history, we can see story of really famous people in history have been able to do hard things just because they know what they stand for, they know their core values. And just now we hear story of the men and women in uniform or in the CIA that day in and day out put their life in danger just because they know what they stand for, what the mission means for them and what their values are. So
I was just going to say, Tan, as you're telling that story about Gandhi, I think, he's been dead for more than 75 years.
yeah,
But I have a shirt that on the
yeah,
back of it says, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And
that's right.
so there's power in being that change and having those core values that give us the strength to carry on during the hard times. I mean,
Yeah.
Gandhi didn't have an easy life, and
Hmm.
and all of us are going to have setbacks and obstacles that challenge us. But
Yeah,
when we have those core values, those keep us going even when times get hard.
that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for sharing. Before we wrap up, I'd like to remind everybody again that if you join us live, you are going to have a workbook that will help you implement these tips, these techniques in a deeper way. And you will also have access to us live to ask your question. And you have a bonus one-on-one coaching session with either one of us. The first session has been a success with coming back like it impacts me in a very positive way. I need it. I love it. It's a great work. I love it. Does the next one come out today? Thank you for sharing this. I wish you would mentor me. This is what I need right now. I got many fears, and most of those are I'm not good enough, and why do they choose me? We all have these voices. We all need a boost in our confidence. Before we wrap up for the Q&A session, I would wish you a great week and looking forward to see you on the next call. Goodbye.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tan, and everyone. I just can't help but think that if you only do one thing from our lesson today, if you write down those top 5 core values that you want to not just believe, but to take action on, that will be so powerful in your life. What a great assignment, Tan. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.